Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Yunus Youth Webinar Series. Before we start, let me introduce you to Yunus Youth. We are an international organization that supports social entrepreneurs with capacity building, mentoring, networking, and access to global opportunities. Yunus Youth was founded in 2014 with the support of Nobel Peace Prize laureate Professor Muhammad Yunus to connect social business entrepreneurs with business experts to build successful and financially sustainable solutions that address the world's most pressing needs. Yunus Youth has impacted over 4,500 youth in 65 countries with its personalized social business training. Today, we will discuss the topic of the role of youth in the new normal. And for that, Yunus Youth Fellows have joined us from around the world to discuss their perspective on the issue and help us reflect on what we want for our future as youth and as social entrepreneurs. And today, if you're watching us, please don't hesitate to use the comment section next to the video here to interact with the speakers, to ask your questions, make your comments. We will be reading all of them during the live today. Please also use Twitter to share your thoughts using the hashtag Y&Y Webinar Series. And if you take a picture watching the webinar and tag us on Instagram, you will be eligible to also receive our full Social Business Essentials Toolkit. And without further ado, I would like to introduce you to our moderator, Yassine. Yassine is an IT engineer who discovered entrepreneurship in 2012 through Enactus INPT, where he started as a member, became a team leader, and then an advisor. Then he worked in collaboration with his teammates on 5 innovative social business projects. He co-founded Educol in 2015 and started a PhD in EdTech entrepreneurship. He also joined Enactus Morocco as a program coordinator for 2 years and advised education organizations as a consultant and trainer. Yassine, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to all the speakers as well. And I wish you all the best for the webinar.
Thank you so much, Yasmin. I would like first to celebrate and also to wish a happy International Youth Day for everyone. So I'm glad to be part of this great organization, which is Yunus Youth. I'm so happy and delighted to be next to these amazing souls. Today, we will be happy and glad to talk about youth. So this day is special. So the United Nations theme for the International Youth Day 2020 is Youth Engagement for Global Action. So it seeks to highlight the ways in which the engagement of youth or young people at local, national, and global levels is enriching national and multilateral institutions and processes. Our organization, which is Yunus Youth, is constantly looking to empower the youth and through them create a positive impact all around the world. So I'm very happy to have with me 3 incredible souls, great change makers. So I'll start with James. We'll be doing it in an alphabet order. So I'll pass the mic to James to give us a brief introduction and to tell us more about what he is doing in Uganda, especially with the Youth Initiative for Development in Africa.
Thank you very much, Yassine. I'm called Interfruit James. I'm staying in Uganda in the refugee camp because I'm a refugee, but my original country is Democratic Republic of Congo. I'm the CEO and the founder of Youth Initiative for Development in Africa. I've been the Yunus Youth Fellow since 2016. I was among the second class. So I learned really a lot of things and helped me to grow up my venture. So Youth Initiative for Development in Africa is a CBO of in the refugee camp where we aim to educate young children and also create jobs through entrepreneurship. Currently, due to the pandemic, of course, have been affected so much, but we managed to still educate children at their homes. If you visit our website and Facebook page, you'll be able to see how we are managing to educate a child at home who has no internet, no mobile phone, no TV, but by maintaining social distance, a kid is able to study at home by making the home a learning environment. Briefly, that's all about what we are doing. Thank you.
Great, wonderful mission, James. I will go and we will fly all together to Argentina. We will be discovering Nicole's mission. So, Nicole, please tell us more about the great impact you are doing with Alex's adventure.
Hi, Yassine. I'm actually in Ireland, so we're going to have to fly back. But I'm the founder of Alex's Adventure. I started Alex's Adventure in 2016. Alex was my brother, and he died in 2016 after taking a synthetic substance, so a synthetic drug. And he passed away 4 days later. He donated his organs, though, after he died, and saved the lives of 4 other people. After that, though, I started thinking about drug education and the drug education that I received here in Ireland and the kind of drug education that we're still giving to young people, and how there wasn't very much of it. There was not enough resources. Teachers were teaching it sporadically all over different schools. So I started to devise basically a workshop where I traveled all around Ireland giving the workshop and giving young people a chance to voice their opinions about drugs and learn something that's impactful and meaningful. And so I've been doing that since 2016. I've just started my own program, which is online, fully online, for teachers to be able to teach this in their classrooms with just really easy and accessible, basically all over the world. So that's kind of where I'm at the moment. With COVID, obviously, all my workshop face-to-face ones finished for the time being, but I've moved everything online. So it's still kind of going, and it's kind of the new normal. It was always the vision, but COVID, I suppose, had made it go faster.
Yeah, so great. Thank you for sharing with us your noble mission. We will go and land in the Republic of Azerbaijan with Sarah. So Sarah, please introduce us to Whether Buta Art and Sweets, and also the work you are doing with the Social Business Youth Center.
Thank you very much, Yassine. I'm very glad to be connected with you with such great change makers from different countries. My name is Sarah. I'm from Azerbaijan, and I founded Buta Art and Sweets social business with the aim of reducing unemployment problem of local women with special needs who are now living in 2 different cities through sales of the handmade sweets to different companies and organizations. We wanted to raise those women as entrepreneurs. We wanted to shape their entrepreneurial mindset. And for already 3 years, we are working together with those women for reducing the unemployment problem. And I joined Yunus Youth social entrepreneurship program in 2018 when I just started my another social business is a social business youth center with the aim of promoting and educating the sphere of social entrepreneurship in our country, as the sphere is quite new and not so many people are informed about this field of activity. And with just 0 budget, as being a team of 3 girls, we founded this initiative to promote and to educate social entrepreneurship among young people in different rural regions as well. And during COVID crisis, we organized the biggest online mentorship program on social entrepreneurship involving more than 70 young people. And I will talk about it later. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, everyone, for this wonderful and inspiring introduction. Before starting our discussion, I want to say hi back to all the spectators who are watching our live on YouTube. So hi to Mozambique, to Armenia, Ecuador, Malaysia, and don't hesitate to write any question you have, any feedbacks, comments. So I'll start our discussion with Sarah. And Sarah, I would like to ask you, how are you living the COVID-19 pandemic as a young social entrepreneur?
Thank you very much for this question. Actually, it was quite challenging time for young people in Azerbaijan, especially as a social entrepreneur. I face this greatest challenge as firstly, as a social entrepreneur of Buta Arden Service, as a founder of this project, where we involve different women with special needs. It was quite challenging to keep this team of women with special needs who lost their motivation, who lost their hopes for the future. And as you know, in all countries of the world, COVID-19 impacted mostly negatively on poor population of those countries. And that's why we decided to work on emotional intelligence, on like creating special skills, which are soft skills, which could create resistance to crisis situations among our people. And as a social business youth center, we saw that our young people are mostly interested in charity activities in order to help to poor population of our country. And we saw that it's not sustainable because our people are buying some products, food products for those families, but they are not solving any problem of those families. So in order to change this approach for solutions of social problems, we are passionate, we are empathic, but we can change this approach through social entrepreneurship model. And we decided to start from education, from online education and mentorship program. And as a young person, I'm really proud of our team members who really tirelessly and worked for these problems, who supported a lot of young people from the whole countries, and also connected local young people, rural youth, with different mentors from more than 10 countries. And we proved to all people around us that crisis, it's not a situation where we can lose our hopes. It's a situation we can create opportunities, additional opportunities for people around us.
Great, wonderful. So Sarah talked about challenges and also opportunities that COVID-19 brought to her as a social business and also to her social business. I would like to know more also about Nicoles' adventure. Can you tell us more about you? You mentioned during the introduction that you are starting an online program. Can you tell us more about how COVID-19 whether helped you or challenged you with your social business and your mission?
I suppose it did kind of both. Overnight, basically, my whole income stream was wiped because everything was cancelled. I had to be in lockdown. So that was kind of, the uncertainty of that was quite scary. And like being a social entrepreneur is always uncertain anyways, starting out and all that kind of stuff. So I was really worried, but I suppose I took the time that I had and I said, well, you know, I can, my vision was always to go online, and so this allowed me and gave me the time to actually focus on that. So I was able to basically move all of my workshops, all of my services, the program, and finish kind of building it out online because I had the time to put into it now. So it was both good and bad for me. Still, it's a little bit uncertain. You know, we don't know, like our schools haven't gone back just yet, and when they do, we don't know what's going to happen. You know, our flu season's around the corner for us. Weather and stuff like that is going to impact us badly. In Ireland, it's always raining. But it's still really uncertain at the moment. But I'm hopeful because everything is online now, so I can remotely teach and I can remotely engage with people, young people, and you know, parents, all of that stuff.
Yeah, wonderful. So as you mentioned, the keyword of this period is uncertainty. We want also to know more about James' experience. Let's say, how was your experience with COVID-19? Is there any struggles, any opportunities that this pandemic brought to you?
Thank you very much. It has been a challenging moment, which no one was expecting it. As I told you, we are educating children in school. So the first thing that the government decided to close was schools. So we were shocked, all of us, and we were not having an idea of what we are going to do next. But we do have friends who keep on asking us how we are doing, what plans we have during the pandemic. And from those questions, we managed to come up with a proposal and we wrote to one of the foundations across the world, and they responded to us. And our aim was to educate children at home. So this opportunity or a challenge gave us an idea of educating children at home, allowed us to employ more people than the ones we have been employing, because educating children one by one at home to cover all of them, it wouldn't be easy than when they're at school. So more youth within our community were engaged and were employed to have those chances. Still, we had a challenge of financial access, because roads were not allowing any car to go, and the banks wanted to reach people. And then one of the banks in Uganda was looking the way of partnering with CBOs in the communities to see how best they can deliver some primary services like withdrawing and depositing. In the process, we come up with either financial services, which is going to be giving out cash to refugees, which UNHCR provides as a ratio to each refugee in the refugee camp. So they will be coming to our outlet, and they bring the card, they swap in the machine, and they withdraw their cash. Saving for youth and the other people who want to save with us. And also we shall have the Western Union. Many people were separated during the lockdown, but they want to send each other some support in terms of funds, like through Western Union and MoneyGram. But those services in the villages, they are not there. And now through the partnership that we are making with banks, we are going to have the Western Union in the refugee camp, that someone won't need to travel to town, but will be coming to our outlet within the village. So basically, those are some of the opportunities that were created around the pandemic. And that's how we managed to think and also have the network of people we can work with to make sure the underserved communities are served. Thank you very much.
Thank you, James. So maybe I'll take off the moderator hat for a moment, and I can't agree more with all what you've mentioned. So as also a social entrepreneur that is operating in the educational field, I can say that yes, COVID-19 brought to us too many challenges, but also too many opportunities. I'll say that, for instance, for our organization, which is Educol, we managed to have to make our impact broader. So we were mainly focusing on 2 cities, Rabat and Casablanca. And thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic, we managed to deliver our programs to more than 33 cities in Morocco. So it was for us a great push and a great, let's say, start to add also online activities. It also, I'll say, changed the parents' mentalities, since in Morocco they were seeing technology as a tool, as a non-important tool, so or as a secondary tool. But with COVID-19, they gained trust and they wanted to have more online activities. I will say also that we saw many initiatives that were coming from youth, for example, different young, maybe students, researchers who were developing respiratory machines, also face masks. I want to maybe know if what are the initiatives maybe that were brought by youth in let's say Ireland. I'll go back to Nicole. Maybe Nicole, if you can tell us more about what are the initiatives that you saw that took your attention and that were very inspiring, especially during the past period.
For us, I suppose it was the sense of community, and that everybody came together. Everybody kind of came home. I live in the city, but I also live outside of the city too. Like, that's my hometown. It was seeing all the young people that were just really active in the community, helping out old people as well, because the old were one of our vulnerable groups, and a lot of young people just stepped up, to the mark, and they were, you know, helping with shopping, helping to do anything that they can do, because they also had the time. And I suppose I felt really sorry for them in a way too, because like the leaving certificate, which is their end of year exams, that's really big before they go to college, was cancelled. It was all based on predictive grades. All of a sudden, you know, they were kind of in a limbo as well, which caused a lot of stress for the young people, because they didn't know whether they had to sit this leaving cert or whether they were going to do predictive grading. But, you know, they've taken a lot of hits, young people. Like, I suppose in Ireland, it's kind of a lot of the blame with COVID and still the spread of it is put on young people, unfortunately. When there is people that are young, of course, that, you know, will go out and meet their friends and stuff, because it's hard for them, you know, their whole lives, summer jobs, all of that stuff is gone for them. But I think they get a bit of a bad rep sometimes. And working myself and with the work that I do, I know that young people are very, very clever. They're just not always given the chance or the opportunity to show that. But yeah, with COVID, they really stepped up. Like, they were the kind of unsung heroes of our communities.
Great. So today I'm wearing a Superman t-shirt. So this is a way to celebrate the International Youth Day. So all of you guys are super women, super ladies, and supermen as well. So yeah, this is let's say a celebration message to everyone, every young man, woman who is doing his best to bring positive impact to his or her community. So I'll move on to Sarah. Maybe can you tell us more about some initiatives that you saw in the Republic of Azerbaijan?
Actually, I'm always proud of any initiatives taken by young people. That means that they are seeing some problems around themselves and they are passionate to solve them, even with the smallest steps, even with zero budget. Actually, the biggest attention which has been brought about this initiative, it was involvement of refugee women into employment process by one social enterprise. And those women, they are not originally from Azerbaijan. They are currently residing in our country, but they came from Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Chechnya. It's a region in Russia. So they are currently involving those women into employment, as those women, just because of law restrictions, they don't have so many opportunities for employment. And it was great to see how our young people, they are so much passionate to help and to widen the impact. And another initiative which has been very great and amazing to see is building online platforms for giving online classes about digital literacy and digital security. So COVID-19 taught us that it's very important to adapt to new trends in markets, in different spheres. So it was very important for our young people to teach to other people, to poor population who lost their jobs, especially to gain new skills and to be a freelance workers. They could get any job from any country just by gaining these skills. So I was very proud to see how our young people, they are so much passionate about mixing new trends created by COVID-19 with social impact created for pure population of our country. So any social business model, any social initiative created by our young people, it creates some impact, even for one person or even for thousands of people. I think that any steps taken by individuals, it has some consequences, it has very positive results. It's very important to be persistent. It's very important to believe in our mission despite all challenges. And I'm really proud to see all the young initiatives. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarah, for this encouragement message and these positive vibes. I'll move on to James. And James, I would like to know more about how youth or young people in Uganda manage to, let's say, help to bring value to the community, and especially if we link it to the topic you are dealing with and you are working on, which is refugees.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me now? So in the refugee camp, mostly the youth are creative because most of them have been home and some of them had left their jobs from different organizations. But the only thing that was on the market was the sanitizers, masks, and the other protective equipments. But we'd find that like masks are out of stock, and soap, you could find that soap is highly demanded, but people can't move to the industry to bring the soaps. So different youth came up with creativity of sewing masks, which can be reusable in the refugee camp here. And even as an organization, we managed to contract some of them, and we have to buy the mask from them. Also the soap making, some of the groups or youth wanted to make soaps, but they were lacking a little bit of materials. And what we could do is to see how best we can access them, either ordering them online. And we managed to make 1,000 of soaps that we managed to distribute to children while they are studying at home. So youth, their role in the new normal is they are on the front line. You see, they are making everything possible, even during a very hard situation. Therefore, I would request, even when we meet the UNCR people, to come and support the younger industries that are growing up within the youth, because the big industry couldn't reach the underserved people within the villages across the country. So basically, that's how the youth are trying to play a role in this pandemic.
Great, wonderful. And we have a real comment from Mohindo Richard, who's saying thanks to the youth initiative development in Africa, which has managed to teach even during pandemic season. So thank you, and thank you for your business and for the impact you are doing. Thanks to all of you guys and girls for what you are doing. We have also another comment.
Thank you very much, Muhindo. Actually, our organization has been the first to educate children at home. Others are still figuring out how to do it. But us, we were the first in the refugee camp to do that. Thank you, Muhindo.
Great, perfect. We have another comment from Sashka, who's saying, I love that you are doing this work in this region. Digital literacy is so important for female entrepreneurs. So yeah, wonderful, Sarah, wonderful, Nicole. Maybe I'll ask Sarah if you want to tell us more, since you mentioned that your center is working on skills, and I think it's very important to work either in the development of soft and hard skills for youth. I'll be asking you for, in your opinion, what should education look like in the new normal? How do you picture it? What will change maybe in the new normal?
Thank you so much. Actually, I would start that when we launched our social business youth center project, we have been focusing mainly on soft skills education for young people, because you can be educated in any sphere. You can have a great knowledge about the sphere, but if you cannot introduce this knowledge to people, if you cannot present in a proper way, that doesn't mean that you all have this knowledge, because skills now in 21st century is that they matter much more than just knowledge in our brains. So during COVID-19, we just observed different processes in our country, and we observed different fake news about statistics of different viruses, or about different crisis situations created by enterprises or governmental institutions. And we saw that development of critical thinking skills is very also important for our young people, because in most of cases, our young people, they're just receiving this information from different media channels, and they don't analyze it. It's a very huge danger for them. They don't analyze, they don't filter, they don't research, they don't want to spend some time for researching this information in all other channels. So it was very important for us to create another small initiative under this project of Social Business Youth Center, where we organize different free book discussions with different guest speakers. And we wanted to create a special platform where young people could share their opinions about the same book. So motivating diversity of opinions, that was the most important message we wanted to create for our young people. So I think empathy, emotional intelligence, critical thinking, and inner soft skills, they are much more valuable for us, especially in education. So I think we should focus in education 21st century on approaches of how you can use the knowledge we gain from different resources into the practice, because now the trends are changing a lot and we need skills which give us opportunity to be adaptive and flexible in different crisis situations as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. I agree 100%. I'll go to Nicole, and I would say that Alex's story was inspiring and touching, and I would like to maybe know your opinion about what should education in the next new period or the new normal look like to prevent maybe drug addiction, and also to help youth develop their skills and also create the future.
Well, I think I suppose I focus on choices and the impacts we have, and when we make a choice, it has a good and bad consequence. So the skills that I think are lacking at the moment from the education system is the skill, like life skills. You know, we teach a lot of young people about English, you know, languages, all this kind of stuff, and that's fantastic. But then they go to the world and they see that, you know, I have all this knowledge, but I actually can't present. I can't cope with stresses. I can't cope with, my mental health is deteriorating, all of these kind of things. That's really important to make a resilient person and to make healthy choices in life. So I think, especially with COVID, you know, a lot of people have been at home. You know, I'm lucky to be in a home where it's loving and lovely, but not everybody has that opportunity. Sometimes, you know, being at school is better than being at home for some young people. And it's something that, you know, they need help with. It's more than, education is more than just knowledge. It's more than that. It needs to be, like Sarah said, emotional as well. And, you know, empathy, life skills are just at the core, because when I just think back to my own education, and in school I learned all about all these great topics, but I never learned about drugs, and I never learned about the dangers, what they were like, what was even out there. I had no knowledge of this. So when I learned about it, then I learned about through TV shows, through, you know, music. It's all in music, it's all in this kind of stuff. And young people are very subjective to that, and they, you know, take it at face value. And sometimes, like Sarah said, they don't research. And when they do research, there's so much information, and it's about separating credible versus, you know, hearsay. And it's teaching young people to be able to differentiate between the two, and also just, you know, building them to make choices that are healthy, and that, you know, that doesn't lead to drug use, because it's very easy to pick up a pill and, you know, make the pain go away. But it's it's a little bit harder to understand why the pain is there in the first place. So that's kind of what I kind of focus on with the teachings, and I think that's what school needs to be like from going forward.
Great, very, very true. James, we noticed the impact you are doing with your organization, and I would like to know more. How do you picture your organization dealing with children or children refugees in the picture, and also the education? Can you share with us the image and the picture you are envisioning for the future education?
Thank you very much. It is unfortunate that refugees, they are mostly vulnerable, and the technology keeps increasing, and sometimes it's expensive to afford. But we think technology will be on the forefront to make sure that even a refugee kid is able to study online. There will be means like phones, information that can be easily accessed on phone, even using USSD SMSs, that even a refugee child can afford to access learning on the phone. Currently, what we are trying to do is to make sure everyone knows English, because most of the refugees, even including the parents, they don't know English. They can't even help a kid at home to study. So it's like hands-on every time. So the future of education, it requires even a parent to be a teacher, a formal teacher who can educate a kid at home. Either they can access materials on internet or can be printed out, so that when there is a situation like this, even a parent himself is able to sit with a kid and able to pass through the academic tools that the government has provided. Our organization is also looking at also making youth the thinkers, instead of just remembering what they studied, but to be creative, to create, to have ideas of how they can come up with jobs. And that's why in one of the things that we are planning to have is to give soft loans to the refugee youth. But this will come when there is a thorough training. There is a thorough training on skills, entrepreneurship skills, so that these youth, they are able even to be accountable on the money they can receive and make a very successful business. So basically, that's how our future look of education should be. A parent educating a kid, and also a youth not only having the knowledge or remembering what he studied, but also creating the new thing. So our aim is to make also youth become job creators. We create job creators, not just creating jobs. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
So we have, let's say, a variety of skills and important skills. Sarah talked about critical thinking, soft skills, self-esteem, too many skills that are very important to the let's say youth, kids, and adults development. We had also Nicole, who was talking about the importance of life skills, practical skills that we need in our daily life, and James, who talked about technology, who talked about entrepreneurship skills. So yeah, I can't agree more. So these skills are very important to our future, and school needs to have all these skills all together so that we can create I'll say adults that are really really engaged in their society, and also who are at ease with themselves. While reading your bios, I was really fascinated with the great work and impact you are doing with your organization, or also with other activities you are doing. I also noticed that you are part of different international organizations and global networks. I would like to know more, maybe how have those international connections, organizations, maybe partnerships you built contribute to your work and also to your resilience during this difficult period. I'll start maybe with Nicole.
Yeah, so I suppose I think back on my whole journey of being a social entrepreneur, and I remember when I was like starting off, I had this mentality of just like, I'm going to save the world, and I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. And what I did was I focused a lot on the solution when I should have been focusing on the problem. And I think that with social entrepreneurs, we're always like focused on the solution, the end goal, and we're like, we're going to fix this really big problem. But actually, I went on a business incubator, and I was the first social enterprise they ever took on. They usually take on commercialized businesses. And it was a gamble for the director, it was a gamble for me. I didn't know how I was going to gel with the group of, really commercialized tech businesses. And here I was, educating young people about drugs. But it was kind of the making of me at the time, because it put me into this headspace that I think a lot of social entrepreneurs struggle with. And it's, I'm doing something that's really good, but therefore I can't make money from it. And I think that's something that I struggled with at the start as well, understanding that concept. But if I can't make money from something, I can't be sustainable. I can't keep doing and growing the impact. And it put me in a mindset of also looking at the problem. And so the more I looked at the problem, the more I saw what the problem actually was. And it wasn't really necessarily what I thought it was initially. And it kind of gave me a better scope. It gave me better solutions. It built out the solution for me, because I think, you know, the solution almost comes like that for us. But if you can't identify the problem, sometimes you spend so much time building a solution that's not going to work and you fail. So for me, yeah, it was being on that incubator that was a little bit different to the old social type thing that usually people are on. And then from that, it grew, my network grew, and there's been so many other global organizations that I've been part with. Obviously, Yunus Youth, I was here last year, I was one of the cohort members. And there's been other ones that I've partnered with, Social Innovation Warehouse, all of that stuff. And it just keeps growing at the moment, and I'm really thankful for it. And it's kind of helped me become a better social entrepreneur and a smarter one too.
Great. So the impact of these organizations was very important and huge in terms of like sustaining your work, sustaining this passion to bring positive impact and positive energy to the community. So great. I think we have a very interesting question from Sashka. Sashka is asking about, let's say, older generations trusting youth. So she's saying, do you have any experiences with your work not being taken seriously by an older generation? Do you have any examples? Yes, please, Nicole.
Yes, I suppose like in Ireland, we're very conservative about everything. So literally like last year, we only voted in, or not last year, a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, I think, we only voted in like same-sex people can marry, you know? So that was a big win for us. But for me, I've come up against it because what I do is I focus on the harm reduction side of drug education. I focus on the fact that people are going to do it either way. Let's try and educate them correctly and give them all of the information. So at the end of the day, they make the choice, whatever it may be, for themselves, but they make an educated one, as opposed to just off the whim. And I've come up against it with some parents because, you know, what I teach, I do demonstrations, not with real drugs, but they emulate similar powders and stuff. And the question I got was, you know, you're showing my kid how to do drugs. And I suppose it's the devil you know versus the devil you don't. And I said, you know, at the end of the day, is it better for me to show them the quantity that will kill them? Or is it better for them to go online and read something that can be absolute rubbish and they take it and they die? So which is better, you know? So I've come up against that in my work because my drug education system is a bit more progressive than where I am at. But when I go abroad, like, you know, Portugal, Austria, they're a bit more progressive with their policies of drugs. So I'm not met against that. But I think you get that in any line of work you do.
Exactly. Sometimes breaking the taboo can prevent a catastrophe, let's say, especially when dealing with drugs. I don't know if Sarah or James have any experience to mention about your work not being taken seriously by older generations. Maybe Sarah, yes, please.
Actually, my start point of social entrepreneurship journey was related with breaking stereotypes of older generations because they never experienced this field in their own life. We are post-Soviet Union countries, so in post-Soviet Union countries, older generation didn't see so many young people involved, not only in social entrepreneurship, but in entrepreneurship generally. So the change of mindset, change of environment, it was one of the biggest challenges I faced during my social entrepreneurship journey. Especially it came also from my own family. My own family didn't believe in our ideas. My own family members told that your idea will never work in Azerbaijan because a lot of older generation representatives, they are thinking that if they are buying products related or handmade by people with special needs. They can never be of high quality. So that was the biggest challenge we faced during our social entrepreneurship journey. And whenever I am asked about the biggest challenge in my own experience of social entrepreneurship, I'm always talking about breaking stereotypes of local population, about changing of approach of solutions of social problem. Because whenever you are bringing some innovation in the communities, in local communities, you will always meet and you will always face resistance from local people, especially from older generation. So that was the biggest problem I faced in my own experience. And now also during this COVID crisis, we saw we wanted to make so many things, mentorship programs, coaching sessions for free for those people, for older generation. They didn't want just to join for this program just because they saw so many negative experiences in their own life and they didn't want to believe in something new created by young people. So it doesn't only relate it with our own efforts, but it takes time, it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of resources. And when the time is going, you will never know exactly what impacted on the change of mindset of those people who change something in their stereotypes. So that is the biggest challenge in social entrepreneurship. I think so. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. I'll say that myself, I was living this since when I graduated and decided to start my social business. Since I am working in the educational field, I found it difficult to start the journey, especially my field of studies was very different from education. I was an IT engineer. I was like conducting engineering studies, and while working with kids, I found that I have a passion for education. So I wanted to start my journey, but to gain legitimacy and credibility, it was a little bit hard. So I needed to work on myself so that I can gain it. And I'll say that it's not, let's not generalize it, but our first clients, our first, let's say, parent who trusted us were our early adopters, and they were, I'll say, young as well. But the parents who were a little bit older started trusting us, let's say, a year after like seeing and feeling our impact on their kids. So yeah, thank you, Sashka, for this interesting question. I'll ask, maybe we'll be having 15 minutes before ending our webinar. I'll maybe ask James. James, how do you see, or how do you picture youth integration in the post-COVID-19 phase or the new normal? You told us about how youth did great during this difficult period. Can you picture and imagine and share with us how do you envision their integration in the new normal?
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Here it's heavy raining. I don't know if you are able to hear me. So, cool. So there are two positive and negative aspects that are likely to come out. Most of the companies, mostly the social entrepreneurs, the small businesses have collapsed already. And then many youth are the one occupying them, and they are not educated. They are not having any more job. So what will be happening after the pandemic? There will be a lot of joblessness and a lot of criminal cases, mostly in our area where we are staying. So that one is expected to happen. Also, due to the struggle of finding the way of surviving, many youth are trying to be more creative, and many initiatives are growing and even are raising up, coming up with new solutions of how they can live, how they can support others. So this pandemic is going actually to make youth create more creative, whereas others will be having more problems. Also, organizations, foundations, which are having a pool of grants, they'll be looking into funding some youth who have a very brilliant ideas. So this is maybe an idea I'm giving to the youth out there. Let them be ready. There are many organizations which want to help to see how can we recover from this negative impact that the COVID-19 has left with us. There will be a lot of organizations wanting to fund. There will be a lot of partnerships. So there will be a lot of opportunities. Therefore, I call upon my fellow youth to have those soft skills and also have networks, good networks, which will enable them meet different people that can make them have their own businesses, and they can also, for those who have the ideas, they can share it with others so that they can help each other to see how best they can manage the situation. Yeah.
Great, wonderful. Um, I have another question maybe for all of you guys and let's say James and girls. So our audience is made up of change makers committed to building an inclusive world. Maybe I'll ask you, what is the call to action or the message that you want to share with them? I'll start maybe with Sarah.
Thank you for such amazing questions. Actually, when we organize this mentorship program on social entrepreneurship, a lot of young people ask this question to us. We have an idea, we want to solve a social problem in our community, we want to create an inclusive society in Azerbaijan, what we should do. And I'm always answering to this question by we should communicate with people as much as we can. We should ask their opinions for our support, because in most of cases, when we want to support people, we don't ask their opinions, we don't ask for their views of thinking. We are passionate, we are empathic to change their lives, but we are not even asking the details of how we can do that in order to improve their lives, their lifestyles or whatever. So in most of cases, these organizations, these young people, they're losing their motivation just because they don't see any results, just because they didn't ask their opinions, they didn't do any surveys, they didn't research about the problems, they didn't observe their lifestyles. So if we want to really impact on someone, if we want to be a change maker with a sustainable business model, with sustainable projects, we should always ask opinions of people, beneficiaries, customers, at the same level, because the trends and behaviors are changing. We shouldn't only focus on one-way research at the beginning of our journey. This research should be done constantly. We should always ask these opinions, and after asking these opinions, we will build really models, sustainable models, satisfying all our stakeholders. Thank you very much. And I think that if we want really to make a huge change in the lives of people, I think we should build a strong empathy with people. We should understand them a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for this amazing, beautiful, and impactful message. The floor is yours, James.
Yeah, thank you very much. The call for action, I would request the foundations and elderly people that this could be the right time to trust the youth. As Sarah explained before, people don't believe in the social entrepreneurship that we youth will start. In the beginning, people would join you, but with time, they would still leave you. Others won't support you. And when it's a big organization, may not trust you giving you their funds or trusting you giving their contract. I think it's high time to trust us and try us and see what we are doing and how we are doing it, whether it is following what they want. Again, maybe we request them to work with the youth so that they can do the right thing. Because youth are the most affected people, and sometimes they are the people who have the best solution for their own problems. Therefore, I request big foundations, big grantors to trust youth this time around, to work with them and see the change they are going to bring to this world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, James. What is the message you want to address to youth and change makers, maybe also other older generations, Nicole?
I suppose the youth are the next generation. They are the next creators, they're the next everything. So for me, the call to action and something that I would want to say to them is take the chance. Take the chance, and the worst thing that can happen is nothing. Like yourself, Yasim, I was an engineer. I worked at sea. I worked on ships. I was never an educator in my life. And I took the chance. I had lost everything. Like, my only brother had died. I was at rock bottom. And I just remember when I had fought myself with this problem, and I was like, will I do it? Will I not? Maybe nobody will care. And you'll go through that, and you'll keep going through that, I think, forever. But my friend said the worst thing that can happen is nothing. And I just remember thinking that that was correct. I had lost everything. There was nothing else to lose. And I took the chance, and I started, and it's been difficult, and it's still difficult, but just take the chance, because it can change your life. And you know, you can learn all the things that you need to learn. You can better yourself, you can study, all that stuff, it's fine. But when you take that chance, you're taking a leap of faith, and you have like no idea what can come from it. Sometimes nothing happens, but sometimes, like in my case, the most amazing thing happens. And if I was too shy to do that, I wouldn't be here today in front of everybody. I wouldn't be here talking to all you great change makers. I'd just still be in my room thinking about it. So sometimes we need that courage, and just think that literally the worst thing that can happen is nothing comes to fruition. You've gained nothing and you've lost nothing. But you know, you take that chance, you can change the world.
Yes, so I want to thank your friend who told you this quote, because it's very like inspiring. So I'm very happy, glad, delighted, proud to be part of this chat. I had personally a great moment talking to you, chatting with you, discovering the impact you are doing, discovering also your visions and perspectives of the new normal. We had too many like interesting thoughts, insights. So I'll virtually hand out the mic to Yasmin, and thank you so much. Happy Youth International Day again, everyone.
That's amazing. Wow, I feel just so inspired, so encouraged after listening from you guys and girls. You are just amazing people. I'm so proud of the work that you're doing, and I'm proud that Yunus Youth is able to support you guys as well. And I also want to thank everyone who joined us live, and also everyone who's going to watch this video afterwards. It is going to be available in our YouTube channel, so you can use the same link that you used to watch it today to share it with your friends, to watch it again if you'd like. So yeah, it's going to be available for you. If you are part of an organization that also seeks to promote social entrepreneurship, diversity, and you would like to talk about partnering with Yunus Youth, please also send us an email. I'm going to share my email with all of you on the chat. Just if you want to follow up and discuss partnership possibilities, I will gladly get in touch with you. And once again, to our speakers, thank you so much for sharing your wonderful insights and the experiences with us today. To Yasin, thank you so much for facilitating this great discussion. And to the Y&Y team in the backstage, thank you so much for your continuous support and everything that you do to create a better world. Our next webinar in this series will take place this Sunday at the same time, so at 9 a.m. EST. So please join us. We're going to be here waiting for you, and I hope to see you then. Bye, everyone. Bye to the speakers and the moderators. I'll see you soon.